Hey, let's get into it. There are moments when something sounds strong, not because it's harsh, but because it's honest. And when we hear it, it doesn't just educate, it can expose. Um, and that's the way that James is speaking here in James 4, verse 4. You adulterous people, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. James uses a word here that kind of immediately gets our attention. Adulterous people. It's not random language, it's covenant language. All through Scripture, God describes his relationship with his people as being like a marriage. It's faithful, it's committed, it's relational. There's expectations of fidelity on both sides, which means that when a relationship is divided, it's not just a mistake, it's unfaithfulness. And then James names the issue. He says, friendship with the world, not the created world, not people, but a way of thinking, a system of values, a worldview that operates independently of God, that sort of self-centered, self-directed, self-defining. James is not saying you can't live in the world. He's saying something much deeper, that you can't align your heart with a way of life that pushes God out to the margins and still expect a relationship that remains unchanged. You can't commit an affair and expect your marriage to be uh, unaffected. Because friendship here implies agreement, shared direction, shared values. And James says that kind of alignment actually puts you at odds with God. Not because God is distant, but because your loyalty, if that is the case, is divided. It's not new language in Scripture. The prophets use the exact same imagery when Israel drifts away and chases after other gods. Um, it's not just breaking rules, it's giving their trust to someone else. And this is where the tension here kind of lands, not in outward behavior first, but an inward allegiance. What shapes your decisions? What defines your priorities? What sort of quietly directs your life, right and wrong, good and bad? Because it's possible to say the right things about God and have our theology correct while being shaped by something entirely different. Um, it was a season in my life where I was living in a way that was contrary to God, where I was sitting in church one Sunday morning, and I'll never forget just sort of praying, God, I don't know if you're real. I don't know. Would you just show yourself to me? And I remember picking up a pew Bible that looked a lot like this one, and just going like, Hey God, you need to speak to me. And I'm not saying you should do this, but I said, Hey God, you just show me something. Speak to me. If you're real. I remember just flipping through my Bible, opening it up randomly, and placing my finger down blindly, and landing on James 4, verse 4, where God cut to the heart of my life, exposing that alignment with the world. Um, Not just a theological misunderstanding, but what I truly loved and what truly was shaping me was the world. And what about you? What is the relationship with God versus the relationship with the world right now? Maybe not in big obvious ways, but even just in subtle ones. Where are the values around you beginning to shape how you think, how you respond, what you prioritize? Where is it that your loyalty maybe feels divided? Not to condemn us, but just to bring some clarity, because realignment doesn't begin with pressure. It just begins with honesty. And we honestly see God exposing some of these mixed allegiances. What is God speaking to you today here through James 4:4? Wherever you find yourself, God goes with you today.